let's talk mistakes. All right, welcome back to Game Brigade. I'm Brian, if you didn't know that already. And on this show, we're going to be talking about some games that I made mistakes on, or maybe bad decisions. Either way, we're going to talk about how I am a bad person. Not really a bad person, but more like I make bad choices sometimes. Let's take a look. So today's conversation topic piece is going to be originating from my Discord. In fact, we have a channel on our Discord. If you didn't know about that, link for the Discord is always down below in the comment section, or not the description bar, not the comment section. We have a section in our Discord talking about board game deals where we share insane deals we might find on the internet. And today, Descent, Legends of the Dark, was a daily deal on a website for $98. Quite the deal. And that triggered part of this conversation. The other part of the conversation is I was having serious buyer's anxiety about wanting to pick up HeroQuest. I found HeroQuest at a local GameStop and thought, man, maybe I should buy that game. It's HeroQuest. It's here. It's new. Why don't I pick that up? And so I asked in the Discord, is that a game that I should be picking up? And luckily, Robin, one of our members, she talked me down, basically said, no, it's an awful dungeon crawler. But I thought it was funny. I had two situations today in one day where I had potential bad mistakes revolving around them. And it got me thinking, what are some other mistakes that I've made and what can I learn from them, if anything? Hopefully there's always something to learn from a mistake. And that I could maybe talk to you guys about it so that maybe you might avoid making the same mistakes. The reality is most people in the board game hobby are all going to make a mistake like this at some point. But maybe I can be clear and help you see where I foul it up a little bit. So let's talk about this one, since it's right here in front of me. Descent, Legends of the Dark. This one was sold to me because I had another content creator friend who loved it. She raved about it. And I went to my local game store and they had a sale of buy two, get one free. And I had no intention of buying this game. Zero. Didn't need it. I have Descent, the first edition, and at the time, I just sold Descent second edition, but I had second edition as well. I didn't really need this. I didn't really care for the wooden cardboard looking meeple look either. Mini look. But my friend, she was very hyped up on it, and the sale got me. So I still have the price tag on this. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't even know if I should be showing it to you, but $157. I knew when I bought this at $157 that it was well overpriced. It's close to MSRP, but in retail, you can find great deals. And this was now offered today, obviously, at $98 through that daily deal that I talked about. And this is still in shrink. I haven't even opened mine. So that was a mistake. But the reason I bought it, and this is the lesson that I want to talk about it, and it's also going to kind of talk about Edge of Darkness as well, but there's more to this one, is the sales. Be aware of board game sales and the tactics that retailers will use to entice you to buy these games. The sale that this one was buy two, get one free. And obviously, it's equal or lesser value. So when I'm purchasing a game at $157, right, that means the other two games that I'm looking at also have to be relatively close to $157 if I want to maximize value. And so what I ended up doing, I bought a game which I gave to a friend, which that's not really part of it. But the second part of that is I bought Edge of Darkness. This was a Kickstarter copy that the local store bought in, but it didn't have all the stuff for some reason. It only had 2 expansions. And so I picked this up. The price was good. The Kickstarter, though, for Edge of Darkness, the newest Kickstarter, was actively going on. And that one included all of the expansions, plus some of the Kickstarter exclusives, as well as the new expansion for $179. So while I bought this to combo it with the sale, as soon as I got home, and I ended up looking at the freaking Kickstarter, I said, oh man, I really want that other expansion. And for almost, just for $30 more, I can get the second expansion as well. So I'm gonna be able to get everything in, and this is on sale for this, so this is technically cheaper. So I ended up backing the other Edge of Darkness, even though I already owned it. And I don't know why. Why did I back the other game just for 2 expansions? And I haven't even played this. I've organized it, I've sorted it, it's ready to go. But now, because I have another copy coming, I don't know if I want to play this and potentially damage it in any way, because right now it's still kind of mint. And so it just sits on top of my shelf. These are obvious mistakes that I keep finding myself wrapping myself down. And the other thing is, before I pulled the trigger on backing, I messaged another content creator friend, Jeremy Howard, and I asked him, what do you think about Edge of Darkness? Do you have any thoughts for me? And in the most succinct answer possible, he goes, do you ever see any content creators talking about it in their top 10s or talking about it at all? That's literally all he said. We didn't really talk after that. That was his reply. It was very strict, to the point. But he's right. I don't ever see anyone talking about this game. No one's ever hyped up about this game other than the reviews where people reviewed it and then they were hum on it. Some of them were really excited. Some of them were really down. So I basically went in on a game which I had no intention of buying either. Remember, I had no intention. I even did Edge of Darkness in one of my videos and said, I'm not backing this game. But because of the sale over here, which caused me to have to look for stuff at the closer price to $157, I bought this, which then made me realize there's a better deal with the Kickstarter if I just went with that. And so now I'm going to have 2 of these, and I have to get rid of this one and most likely take a loss. When I say loss, probably cut even to close to what I paid for this with the 2 expansions, like with the sale price. But still, it's just like these are mistakes I shouldn't have to deal with. So those 2 are kind of combined, and thought it'd be a good lesson to talk about. The next game I want to talk about, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. I have the complete all-in collection. It's still down here. I picked this up from a guy on Facebook Marketplace, and in fact, I'm happy about that because you guys want to hear an interesting story. I met this guy on Facebook Marketplace to buy this game, and then I sent him a message and said, hey, if you're ever interested in playing with me on board games, I would love to have you join our group. And he actually did end up coming and playing games with us. And now he's one of the most regular members of my board game group. So that is a positive note for this lesson, at least. But really, I want to talk about buying games again strictly off of FOMO and feeling like I have to own a game. Tainted Grail, I missed, and I talked about this a lot, especially when I did Nemesis videos, that I missed a lot of the Awaken Realms games, mostly because I was so, at the time, apprehensive for the costs, and I know who I am in terms of how I buy things. I like to collect and have everything. But once these started coming out and I started seeing everyone hyping them up, I was like, I gotta get this game. Even when the reviews started faltering, I had to have this game. So I picked it up from a gentleman on Facebook Marketplace, and I've yet to play it. And that has been probably over a year and a half now. I feel like it's well over a year that we've had this game. And the sad part is the game that's in here, I hear a lot of bad things about playing at specific player counts. Like my player group is normally like 4 to 5. And this one, Tainted Grail, I hear doesn't work very well at 4 to 5. Work would be better as a solo game or a 2-player game. I'm not much of a solo gamer, so I have to already check that whenever I'm purchasing things and say, you're not a solo gamer, so will this work in your player group? Tainted Grail, at the time right now, hasn't been able to find its place in my player group because I just don't have the people to play with. because if we play at 4, we're obviously going to have the house rule or figure out a way to make it fun from everything I'm hearing, especially regarding the resource collection. So that was this one. I think I could also say that every single Awaken Realms game that I purchased to date has red flags all over it. Nemesis, especially with the lockdown coming, we have a review. Well, as soon as my copy of Lockdown arrives and I have another chance to play it one more time, I'm going to give you guys my review for both games. I think we'll do a combined and talk about my pros and cons for either. But even ISS Vanguard, I've got the prototype over there for, what's that freaking name called? Ragnarok. Lords of Ragnarok's over there. Every one of these games, Etherfields, all has red flags. And ever since I missed out on this one and then the original Nemesis, I have tried to go all in on all future Awaken Realms contents. And then Awaken Realms keeps missing things to make their games just sometimes not fun. You have an incredible system, incredible thematics. I think their games are incredibly thematic, which is I'm a very thematic player. I love theme. I love being drawn into the world. But sometimes they do things just to make it a hair harder than it needs to be. So that's something I think that almost every game, the only one I haven't played yet, I haven't played this one, Great Wall. And this is all in, but it's Meeple version. So we'll see on that one. I haven't played it yet, though. But yeah, so I think all Awaken Realm games could have a red flag. The next one I want to talk about, let's put my notes up here that I'm clearly not using. Wild Ascent. And bear with me. I've talked about this on the channel before, where I cannot stand if the box is not straight on both sides. So when I'm looking here, I want it to be straight on the back too. So Wild Ascent was a game that was sent to me. And we covered this review. I played it a few times, and I had some issues with the review. I was very clear in the review about Wild Ascent, that I thought it was a diamond in the rough, but that the rule book was just so hard to use effectively, especially because you have to dig between 3 different rule books to find the correct answer sometimes, so it's not very well written out. That I've not wanted to go back to it. It's been daunting. It's you know what? There's other games I'd rather focus on and play than these ones. I'm going to bring these back just in case my camera is focusing properly. Sometimes my camera doesn't know how to focus, so if I'm too close. So back to me. So Wild Ascent, I knew that the system, while was fun, I haven't been playing it. But then we have Levion Rising, the expansion. I can't remember if it was a standalone expansion, but it was supposed to fix a lot of things, and I never got a chance to play that. Some of my other friends got to play it. I never got a chance to play it. But I basically took their word that it was a fix for this game. And that Kickstarter got very, very bloated, very big. Got me very nervous because here's a system that I could potentially love, but their rule book's shady. And now I'm looking at buying more. Is this a lesson I need to learn? When do you say, you know what? Cut your losses, sell the base game, you don't need it. And there's other games you can get into, especially because there's a lot of boss battles. Now, this is a boss battle, but it's kind of a minier boss battle because you're fighting individual monsters differently. But there's a lot of boss battles that I have coming. I'm like, do I need this system? I don't really need a dungeon crawler either. It's not really a dungeon crawl, but it has some RPG-like elements. But I feel like I could have passed on on this one. Passed on it. So that was my thought on this one, and my lesson is, if you're humming or hoeing on a game, if it's not really the system you want, don't expect an expansion to fix it. I've talked about that with Joan of Arc with my Mythic games. The first version of Joan of Arc was really unplayable for me. I hoped that the 1.5 fix would fix it. I still have yet to play it. It's just sitting down there, and I don't know if I feel like maybe the taint of my experience of Joan of Arc is even greater than the desire to even learn the system now. So that's an unfortunate thing. I thought about pulling it up here and using it as an example, but I just ravaged on Mythic Games like 2 episodes ago. So I didn't feel like it would be fair to keep hammering it in that nail or kicking a dead horse or whatever. But that's that. So hopefully this video was interesting for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Remember, first off, big point. I want you guys to join the Discord. I want more people to join the community. I really enjoy the group we have there. It's been very fun to have people conversating about their board games, discussing Kickstarters, talking about deals. We even have people talking about prototypes and their playthroughs and talking about, what their experiences are. I think you would really enjoy it, especially if you like board games. Second, the Patreon. I got a Patreon link down there. If you want to support the channel, it'd be really great. I'm going to be working on a podcast format for that. So if you are wanting to hear my thoughts on pretty much anything, check out the Patreon. That should be going through. The levels will be changing as well for that. So make sure you are aware that the Patreon levels will be adjusting. Other than that, thank you guys for subscribing, joining the community. If you really want to support it, make sure you click the like button. But without that, let's just go wrap this up. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.